My name is Maya and welcome to my YouTube channel. I think I haven't talked today yet and my voice is a bit weird, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do something different because one of the things I really love to watch on YouTube are project vlogs that span over a longer period of time than just 2 hours of video filmed in one go. And I have tried a few times in the past to film a project vlog like that, but they never saw the light of day because I just lost steam during the process and I film for a few days and then I'm like bored or I just forget to film and I make too much progress and then I need to catch up on what I forgot to tell you about and then I film for 30 minutes and then the video is 2 hours long and that's not what I want. So I'm trying again today. I think if this does get to be published, you probably have seen a little bit of b-roll of me spinning because that's what I'm trying to do. I would like to do a spinning vlog of this whole spinning project I'm trying to tackle and I would love to take you through the whole process from beginning to end and we will see how it goes. So I have already, as you can tell, started spinning my first singles, but let me tell you about the project from the beginning. So I have those comb tops, I think they are called, so this is half. I have already split the braid in 2 lengthwise. And this is fiber that was dyed by a lovely viewer of this channel, Nora, so thank you again, Nora. And so you cannot get this anywhere, this is just for me. And it's a Rambouillet comb top. It's a 200-gram braid, so I have 200 grams of this, and then I would like to pair it somehow with this, which is Onyx by Woolen Twine Fiber Studio. It's a blend of 50% Gotland and 50% Swarples. It's a lovely natural dark grey black color and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And my plan is to knit a hood. I have an idea in mind. I've been trying to find a pattern, but I cannot find exactly what I want. And I know how to design stuff, so I'm just going to design my own thing. Especially because I have no idea what kind of yarn I'm going to get. So if I can just design my own thing without having to try to end up with a specific type of yarn, it's going to be much better. So I'm not really aiming for anything particular, except I would like a middle weight of yarn between DK, worsted, something like this. I just don't want to have bulky weight and I don't want to have fingering weight. That's all. So I just started spinning the singles. This is also my second ever spinning project. So I'm still very much a beginner, so I don't really know what I'm doing. So I just decided to just start to spin and see what happens. And what happens is that I'm spinning pretty fine. I'm not sure if you can tell, but those are very skinny singles. And I know it's Rambouillet and it's supposed to bloom a lot with washing, but I think, yeah, some places it's gonna be like worsted for sure, but a lot of places are gonna be more like sport or light DK. I don't know, I have no idea. However, what I'm sure about is that I won't be able to spin this as fine as I'm spinning this, because this is Gotland and Swartpulse and it's not as beginner-friendly fibers as this. So I'm gonna have two different weights of singles. Now, my original plan was to ply one ply of this and one ply of this, and have like a two-color lovely yarn. And also, I cannot put as much spin into a Gotland fiber than a Rambouillet fiber, so it's gonna be unbalanced. I think it doesn't matter, you do what you want with spinning, that's the whole point, but what I want is to have a balanced yarn, so I don't think I can ply these together. So my original plan doesn't work anymore. So if I ply them separately, if I have super skinny singles for this and thicker singles for this, if I do a 2-ply for both, I'm gonna have heavier yarn for this one than for this one. My plan for the hood is to do half fisherman's rib, which is a little bit more forgiving if you have two different colors together. But still, I'm a little bit unsure. The best way, of course, would be to just sample a 2-ply and a 3-ply and sample a 2-ply and see what I like the best. But I just want to enjoy the thing and not be too technical about it, while at the same time still ending up with a nice result. So in French we say je veux avoir le beurre et l'argent du beurre et la fille de la laitière, which could be translated as I want the butter, the money of the butter, and the shop lady's daughter. Yeah. So I don't really know. I haven't decided yet. But what I can do in the meantime is to finish spinning my singles and then decide how I ply them. So I divided my 200 gram braid lengthwise once. So I have 200 gram half braid. Does that make sense? And I started spinning and I realized I wanted to maybe do a 3-ply. So I did some math. My first half braid was 93.5 grams and the second one is 103.5 grams. So in total I have 197 grams. If I divide this by 3, it means that each ply should be 65.5 grams, so that it's exactly a third. So I started spinning the smaller half braid, so I had to stop spinning when I had 28 grams left of the first braid, which was a little bit more than this. And then I started the second bobbin. And I'm gonna spin all the end of the first half braid, and I'm gonna spin the second half braid, this one, until I have 66 grams left. And the 66 grams left are gonna be for the third bobbin. So I can do a 3-ply. Now, if I want to do a 2-ply, it means I'm gonna have to do a super big plying bracelet for the third bobbin to get a 2-ply out of it, which I don't want to do. So my plan is to finish this second 65 grams bobbin, and then I'm going to start spinning the singles of this. And I'm going to see what I get. If this is really, really thick and there is a big difference, I'm going to stick with the 3-ply plan and spin the third single on a separate bobbin so that I can do a 3-ply with this. And if I happen to be also spinning this pretty fine and I end up with a yarn weight that would kind of match a 2-ply of this one, I'm gonna divide the third part into the 2 existing bobbins so that I end up with 2 bobbins that I can ply together. so that I have a 2-ply. So that's the plan. Now, I have another problem, which is that this first bobbin, at the beginning I was spinning at a certain speed and I had set up my wheel at a certain speed. And as I got used to it, I think I started feeling the single faster and faster, so there was less and less twist into my singles. And I could definitely tell a difference between like when you get to the end of the bobbin here and you do a turn, and I could see the end that I had just spun here was a lot looser than what I had back here. And in the second bobbin, the difference is even worse. You can definitely tell, if you can see, there is a lot less twist in this one than in this one. It's especially visible in the parts where there are 2 colors. The angle of the twist is just absolutely not the same, which is not good. I just stopped doing plyback tests at some point because I figured I had found the sweet spot and I could just go on without having to think anymore. But when I did another plyback test with this one, it was so loose. There was just absolutely not enough twist in there. So I need to retwist this thing. And I have never done that. Again, this is my second spinning project. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I also wanted to respin the end of the second half of this bobbin because it was also under twisted. So what I did is I took a large book. I'm gonna go and get it. I took this book and I started winding my singles on it. The bobbin was on the wheel and I was just pulling the yarn out of the bobbin and winding it here until I had reached the point where the twist was like I wanted it to be. And then I started spinning again my singles while unwinding from the book and getting a little bit more twist into the singles. And it worked because now this has the correct amount of twist the whole way around. There is no difference between the beginning of the bobbin and the end, so it worked. But I still have to do it for this little bit before I can continue and finish the second third of this braid. So I'm gonna do that with this very technical technique. I'm pretty sure there is a better way to do this, but I didn't want it to remove this bobbin and then start respinning it on another bobbin because that would mean my single would be reversed. So I would have spun half of it in one direction and the other half in the other direction, and when I would start adding this again, it would be in the opposite direction, and I'm not sure it makes a difference, but I didn't want it to take the risk. So since I wanted all my singles to go in the same direction, I had to unwind the whole bobbin and then rewind it on the same bobbin. Yeah, again, I don't know if there is a way to do this. I did not even look it up. I'm not interested. I just found a way that works for me, and that's just what I'm gonna do. So I will now go and respin this thing, finish this braid, this half braid, start the second one so that I finish my second third completely, and then I'm gonna start spinning this guy. And I hope I will get a result that match kind of the one I have already. Let's get started. Hi, it's been a while. It is beginning of October, something like 6th or 7th of October. So I haven't filmed in like 2 months, 3 months, I don't know, whatever. I don't remember what I said when I stopped filming, and I don't think it really matters because whatever, if I forget something, I'm just gonna write it up on the screen. But I finished spinning the singles, and I may repeat myself or I may not. I divided the third in 2 halves so that I would have 2 halves of this braid on each bobbin so that I could 2-ply them. And I also finished those 2. And actually those 2 have been finished for a while. And the main reason I didn't finish those 2 earlier is because I wanted to film before I spin so that I could have some content for the video, but I didn't have the time, or my couch was in a mess, or it was dark, or something like that, and I wasn't spinning because I couldn't film, so it was getting ridiculous. I just decided to stop filming and just go ahead and spin this so that I would actually make some progress. The other reason was just that I had too much on my plate designing wise. It was a bit of a mess in the Maya Tinks headquarters during the last 3 months, but I would like to start knitting the project I have in mind for those yarns next week. It's Tuesday and I would like to start on Monday, so I really need to finish this. Which is why I finished spinning the single yesterday night, and now I just have to start plying. So I'm gonna go ahead and ply everything together, and hopefully we will have results that's kind of suitable for what I have in mind. I did start knitting my first handspun. Let me go and grab it. So those are the 2 leftover skeins I have. I had 100 grams of both, and I did a pair of mittens. They're all super cute. It's not mittens, it's mitts. So they are the gecko mitts. I have no idea if the pattern is gonna be, the pattern is gonna be out or not by the time this video goes live. Who knows, but they are going out on the 1st of December, so maybe. And this is what they look like. They are incredibly cute, and I think the yarn is not too, I mean, the consistency on this one is really good. I think, especially here, it's so beautiful. I can't believe this is my first handspun. But then I look at the other hand and I'm like, yeah, I can see this is my first handspun. It's very thick and thin. But whatever, I love them. I'm super happy about them, and it makes me very hopeful for how this is gonna turn out, because the singles of this and this are much, much thinner. So I should get a yarn that's much thinner than this. This is like very thick and thin, so I'm having moments of lace and moments of chunky, but all in all I think the blue one is worsted weight and this one is Aran weight, kind of, or maybe both Aran weight, whatever. It's a pretty heavy weight, and we will see what this one, no, not this one, this one ends up being. I'm very curious. So let's get plying and let's see how they turn out. If you are a returning viewer, you know why I'm smiling. And if you're new here, first, welcome. Thank you for watching until now. And this whole situation is brand new. Up until last week, it was still a blank wall. And I'm super pleased with how it came out. Anyway, this is not what we are here for now. I finished plying and blocking. Is it called block? Or is it another name when you wash a spin for the first time? I washed it, and here is how it is. Here is what it looks like. Those are the two big skeins, and then the two smaller ones, because I of course couldn't divide my 200-gram braids into 200-gram skeins. It would have been too easy. I already caked up, and I already knit up a swatch. So here's the first one, and here's the second one. But more on that later. First, about those, you probably saw how incredibly coily this one was. It was an absolute complete mess, and it was like pigtailing like crazy, and somehow I wasn't worried at all. I don't know, I just had faith in the blocking process, and I just trusted the process, and I knew it would be fine. So I just found it funny, and I did take a few videos to share on Instagram, but then I blocked it, and it's perfect. It's not overspun or underspun or whatever, it's just perfect. I mean, it is a little bit overspun, but not as bad as it was before. And when I blocked it, or washed it, so I soaked it. It was about 5 o'clock, something like that, and then I went climbing, so I left for like 3 hours and more. And I was hoping to get back around 9 o'clock, but I ended up eating there with a group of friends, so I ended up coming way later at home. It was like more than 10 p.m. and in Switzerland it is forbidden to do noisy stuff after 10 p.m. And I had to thwack it, you know, when you like beat it on a hard surface so that it makes the fiber blooms and it makes the whole thing more even. But that's super loud, and I'm usually doing this in my bathtub, so it kind of, the sound really, I cannot do that at more than 10 p.m. So I was trying to find a surface that wouldn't like make the sound echo in the whole building. So I tried on a chair, but it was doing too much noise, and then I tried on the bathtub, but it wasn't working. I tried on a door, but it wasn't working, so I ended up thwacking on my leg. So I was basically beating this thing on my leg like this. And since I had 4 skeins, there was a lot of beating, and let me tell you, it hurt by the end of the process. But you have to suffer to make great yarn, right? No, you don't. You really don't. But yeah, it went fine, and then I just hung it to dry. And then I realized I had forgotten to like roll it in a towel. And it was still a little bit damp. It was definitely dripping water at the bottom, but I had already thwacked it, so I didn't want it to like squish it down into a towel. So the next day in the morning, I could make noise again because it was the morning. So I did roll it into a towel. Yes, I did put water everywhere when I was thwacking on my leg, and it still was a little bit dripping wet. And then I thwacked it again, and this time I did it on the bathtub. So basically it has been beaten up twice, which probably helped to strengthen it to the best of its ability and to make it as perfect as it is now. I'm not going to try to show it too much on the screen because I did take some B-rolls, and it's going to be much more easy to see the absolute beauty of this yarn. I'm just so pleased. It's perfect. And the amount of twist it has is exactly what I was hoping for. It's a little bit over twisted because I didn't put enough twist in the singles. So I think next time I'm gonna twist the singles more so that I can ply at the twist I want. I'm not 100% sure I'm not gonna be even more over twisted than it is already, because there is a couple of pigtails hanging around in the middle, like here, there is one. tiny little pigtail. There are a few of those in this big skin, but there's even more in the second skin, because the second skin for some reason was even more twisted than the first one, which you can see in the video actually. It's pigtailing a lot more than this one. But somebody on Instagram actually confirmed what I was thinking, which is I should ply the singles more. So it's not just my brain, it's actually what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, I'm already excited to try it again and try to get a more balanced yarn in the future. But until then, I'm just so pleased. It's gorgeous, and I have no idea about the weight, but I will talk about that later because it's a whole thing. The second one, so it's kind of, the fibers are kind of stuck together, like when you haven't brushed your hair in a long time, it's kind of doing it. So the skin doesn't look as beautiful as the other one, but the yarn is gorgeous. And it's a little bit thicker, but it's still quite fine. And I'm also super pleased. This one is not overspun at all. I think it's probably perfect. I have no idea. I don't know what it's supposed to look like, so I don't know if it's perfect or what. I don't know. But it's very drapey, it's gorgeous, yeah, I'm super proud. Anyway, I did make a little sheet so that I remember what I wanted to say, because there are a ton of stuff I wanted to say. Oh yeah, first, I wanted to see if this is itchy, so I'm gonna put it here. Oh yeah, it is. But I'm gonna try to hang out with this on my neck for a while and see how I feel about it in a few minutes. It's already itchy. Oops. Regarding the plying experience, this one was an absolute nightmare. It kept on snapping all the time. Really, I mean all the time, it's really all the time. Like I could ply for like 10 seconds and then it was snapping again, and then I joined it back and then it snapped immediately because I had lost some twist because it has snapped, and then it snapped again, and yeah, it was so painful. It took like double the amount of time it should have taken because of that, and yeah, I was enjoying the process of plying, but also I didn't. I think it's more that I wasn't experienced enough to manipulate this kind of yarn, because I guess maybe the staple was a little bit short, and maybe having less twists just means that the yarn is a bit more fragile, and it was kind of inconsistent, and when it was too thin and not enough twist, it was just breaking. And maybe if I try to spin something like this again in like a year, it will be an absolute delight from beginning to end. But right now, as my second spin ever, it was maybe a little bit ambitious. I still ended up with an absolutely gorgeous yarn, but I mean, in terms of enjoying the process, I think I would enjoy it more if I did this when I have more experience. However, this one snapped once, I think. I broke a ply once, and that's all. And other than that, it was smooth sailing. It was perfect. It was joy. It was wonderful. I liked it so much. It was magnificent. It was just, yeah. I had so much fun spinning and playing this, and I'm just so proud. But I said that already. Anyway, you get the idea. And I also just wanted to mention, it's also why I'm sitting here instead of in the kitchen. First, because the light is better here, but also because this color scheme that Nora dyed for me was supposed to match my couch. So if I remove those, I think the inside is a little bit more, no, not really, but yeah, the color scheme is similar to this. So that was the whole idea, and I think she nailed it. It's a little bit lighter because I think it's pretty usual when fibers are dyed, they look darker than when you spin and ply them, so I think it's pretty normal. But I think this is the perfect amount, density of color for like to see the colors in an actual project or garment or whatever. It's perfect. So yeah, I wanted to sit here so that you could actually see the comparison between the two. And I forgot to mention, but I think you understood it, but I ended up going with a 2-ply because the plies of this one were thin enough, but I think I explained that already in the vlog. I have edited the first, everything up until now, So I remember what I said when I started the project, and I also remember it was mid-July, so it's been like 3 months. But yeah, it's even more impressive that I managed to have a okay yarn, knowing that this project took me so long, and yeah, anyway, one more reason to be proud of my work. Yeah, so I was saying I ended up doing a 2-ply instead of a 3-ply, so I ended up dividing the last third of the braid into the 2 existing bobbins so that I would have 2 plies. And you know what? In terms of weight, they were almost exactly the same weight. So one of them was like 1 gram heavier than the other one, the 2 bobbins comparisons, I mean. And when I finished plying, I had like maybe 1 gram of ply left on the second bobbin, because there's always a moment where you have one bobbin that runs out before the other, and you finish with a plying bracelet. And I did that, and it was like 3 meters of plying because it was almost exactly the same. I'm so pleased, especially considering I did all this messing around with like third and then dividing a third into halves, and yeah, that was very pleasing. But this one didn't go as smoothly because I did end up with quite a chunky bit on the second bobbin when the first one ran out. So I wanted to do a big plying bracelet, but then it snapped. So I had to do like 4 plying bracelets because I kept on snapping the yarn. Anyway, it was a mess, but I still did it, and the yarn didn't snap at all when I wound it on the winder. So I guess it's a solid yarn in the end. Regarding the specs, so I'm not really sure, because since they shrunk with the blocking/washing, I had to remeasure the circumference of those skeins after washing. But I'm kind of struggling because depending on how I measure, I get totally different measurements. So I have counted my strands, so I know how many loops I have, but I'm not exactly sure of the length of the loop. So one of my calculations gives me 470 meters total for the onyx fiber. It's like a 235 meters per 100 grams, so it's like a DK weight. And for the Rambouillet, I get 492 meters, so that's more like light DK, because that's 445. So yeah, DK, light DK. But someone told me that spun yarns are usually denser, so it means that even if it has the meterage of a light DK, it's probably more like a sport. And this one, if it has the meterage of a DK, it's probably more like a light DK. But if I measure differently the circumference of the loops, I get more like a little bit more of this one, so closer to 400 and almost 500 meters of this one, and less of this one, so kind of swapping the numbers. So I don't really know. They are both between sport and DK, kind of. I don't know, whatever. I could also measure the wraps per inch, but yeah, it just depends where I measure, because there is so much difference in thickness between, yeah, some places it's like lace and some other places it's worsted, so I could try to take an in-between, but also I wouldn't be really sure it's a real in-between or if I'm just biased in any way. So yeah, I don't think there's a point in doing wraps per inch either. So I ended up just doing swatches. So let me show you the first swatch. And I did this on 3 millimeters. Oh, it's gorgeous. Can you look at the color change? It's so beautiful. So this is a small skein, and visually it really looks like a fingering to sport. It's pretty thin. When you look it up here, it's definitely very thick, but when you look down here, it's very thin. So yeah, I don't really know what's up, but this is 3 millimeters and the fabric is a little bit dense. If I want a nice fabric, like as reference when you do, I don't know, like a t-shirt or something like that, you want a little bit of drape, but not too much. And this is a bit dense, which goes to show that there is a little bit too much twist, because I can also tell it's ever so slightly ropey. It's not a problem because I like dense yarns and dense fabrics anyway, so I guess it goes with my own personal taste. But I could go up a needle size, so I think the correct needle for this yarn is 3.25 or 3.5 millimeters, depending on how much drape you want, which is a sport weight. So that's what's telling me that this is definitely a sport weight yarn. I'm going to unravel this swatch and try again with a bigger needle. That's why I didn't cut the yarn. But yeah, so that's for this one. And then for the second one, I also did the little swatch. So this is what it looks like. It's obviously not blocked, but this is kind of the perfect gauge, I would say. And this is on 4 millimeters, which tells me that this is a DK. So that's how I know the weight of my handspun yarn. And it's a little bit see-through. You can maybe, yeah, you can see me behind definitely. But I think if I block it, it's going to bloom because this yarn is very fuzzy. I think it's because of the Gotland, or I don't really know, but whatever. I think it's going to bloom. So yeah, 4 millimeters sounds like a sweet spot. And if I want to combine them, which is the whole point of this whole adventure, I think I'm going to use an in-between, probably 3.75. Because, yeah, as I said, I want to do a hood, and I don't want the hood to be too drapey either, because I don't want it to, like, droop on my head. I want it to have a little bit of oomph. And also, I don't want the wind to pass through too easily, so yeah. Probably 3.75, maybe 3.5, I'm going to have to swatch. I will probably put the picture at some point here, because I think I'm going to swatch while I edit this and watch back the vlog. So I cannot show you the swatch now, but probably it's there. But I think I have so much meterage, like I really wasn't expecting to get like 500 meters with 200 grams of both. Like I actually almost have a sweater quantity because I have a little less than 1,000 meters. So if I make like a not too oversized and cropped sweater, yeah, I can definitely have a sweater quantity with those. But it's itchy, definitely. It's not horrible. Like I'm not gonna, I am. Yeah, it's a bit too itchy for a close-fitting sweater, so definitely not for that. But if I do my hood, unless I do like one of those gigantic hood with a super big shawl thing situation, I'm gonna have a ton of yarn left over. So I could do the gecko mitts with those. It would be perfect, so I can have a kind of a matching set. But I'm still gonna have a lot of leftovers. So my thought is, if you followed my fall knitting plans, I wanted to make a cowl for my mom. And if I do like brioche or half fisherman's rib or even color work or whatever, and I have this one on the inside where it touches her skin and this one on the outside where it doesn't touches her skin, maybe she could also wear this. So maybe we can be matchy-matchy with the yarns, my mom and I. I don't know. I will have to see how much yarn I have left over, but yeah, I have a ton of yarns, and that's kind of unexpected. But the other thing also is I just realized that I should probably do, if I want to release this hood design as a pattern, I should probably also use a commercial yarn, because I don't really know the yardage of this yarn. So if I want to do yarn estimates for the pattern, and if I just want to show off the design in a normal yarn, I should just use the commercial yarn. But I couldn't decide what to choose if I didn't know the gauge of this one. So now I know, and now I can finally select a yarn, but I don't have a single sport weight yarn in my stash. Not one. I just don't have that. So I have a lot of heavy DK worsteds, leftovers from my sweaters, and I have a lot of fingering. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but that's coming, that's up in the air for the future. I'm going to have to do 2 samples of this hood. There is a world in which I could do like a sport weight version and then a worsted weight version, so that I have 2 gauges for the hood. That would actually be very smart. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. I said it 10 times already, but I'm so pleased. I'm so happy, I'm so excited, and I just want to cast on immediately, but I can't. So until then, I'm going to unravel my swatches and do the one that you have already seen. And you will be able to tell if it looks great or not, but I'm pretty sure it will. And I think that's all for my second spinning project. So I hope you enjoyed this. I did, definitely. The filming on a long-term project there was definitely a long break, which is not good. But I think I'm kind of getting the hang of it. I'm also trying to be more gentle on myself, that I don't need to have absolutely perfect lighting all the time when I film. Like, did you notice that the middle section, the lighting was terrible? Because I was filming here, which is the darkest place in my apartment, so I had the overhead lighting, which is disgusting. But did you notice a difference? Was it absolutely ugly and you couldn't watch the image or not? I don't think so. So yeah, it's kind of helping me get out of the I need to have perfect conditions to film. So I think that was good for my future content creation brain. Yeah, so if you want to see more of these videos, definitely let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this. I'm looking here because the braid I want to spin next is right here, and I'm super excited already. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for following me along in this journey. And I hope you enjoyed this little adventure and you learned something along the way, even though I don't really explain what I do, but yeah. If you're not a spinner, I guess you have no idea what I'm doing, but whatever. This is not a tutorial. I'm here for the vibes. So thank you for the support. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any future content from me. I hope to see you again next time. Next week will be a standard podcast episodes. And until then, happy knitting. I love you.